The Philippines is truly abundant. The wealth of nature is not just seen, but also felt both above and below water. With breathtaking landscapes, coral reefs that are teeming with life and biodiversity, and some of the most kind and welcoming people that we have ever met, the Philippines truly is a place that we never wanted to leave. Come with us as we experience this beautiful country for the first time and show you how to plan the perfect trip to the Philippines.
While Seattle is an incredibly beautiful place, the winters can be brutal with such little sunlight. As February rolled around, Jason and I were not quite feeling ourselves and were desperately missing the sunlight. Originally, we weren't planning a trip until the summer, but we splurged on tickets to the Philippines in an attempt to catch up on vitamin D and experience what we were told was some of the best snorkeling and diving in the world.
In what felt like no time, the day of our trip arrived and we boarded a 12-hour flight from Seattle to Seoul, Korea. From there, we took another 4.5-hour flight to Manila. Arriving at after 10 p.m., we headed straight to the hotel and hit the hay, totally exhausted from our day of traveling.
The next morning, we woke up a bit tired and excited for our first full day exploring the Philippines. We boarded one more flight to the island of Bohol, where we would start our journey in the Philippines. After landing, we headed straight to the hotel to drop off our things, where we then booked a driver to take us throughout the island. For less than $60, we got a private driver to take us everywhere we wanted to go that day.
One of our favorite ways to capture our memories on our trips is with our Insta360, so we were super excited that they sent us some new accessories to try out on this trip. We often find it challenging to film both of us when traveling, but with an invisible selfie stick and a camera that has the ability to capture 360-degree footage that we can reframe to any angle, this is so much easier. With our new gear, we couldn't wait to experience the top sights of Bohol. Our first stop in Bohol was in the city of Tagbilaran at the historical Balicasag church. Built out of coral and stones, this church has much of its original material and is one of the oldest Catholic churches in the Philippines. It was super cool to see and a great first stop.
After the church, we headed to the Loboc River for a floating buffet lunch with incredible views. While the food was not the best we've ever had, the views were spectacular and we thoroughly enjoyed cruising through the river listening to live music.
After our lunch cruise, we headed to what was one of our most anticipated activities in Bohol, the Tarsier Sanctuary. These tiny primates have some of the biggest eyes in comparison to their size for any mammal and are absolutely adorable. As these animals are nocturnal, very shy, and near threatened in the Philippines, it can be extremely challenging to see them in the wild. Thankfully, the Philippine Tarsier Sanctuary is dedicated to tarsier conservation and provides the opportunity to see these adorable creatures in a safe and natural habitat.
After the Tarsier Sanctuary, we headed to an unexpected stop at the Loboc Eco-Tourism Adventure Park for a zipline, which turned out to be an absolute blast. We rode the Superman zipline across and then took a cable car back, which was a beautiful way to see the Emerald Loboc River below.
After ziplining, we headed to our last stop in Bohol, the Chocolate Hills. With over 1,260 chocolate kiss-shaped hills spread over 20 square miles, the Chocolate Hills are a must-see for any trip to Bohol. We opted to ride ATVs through and around the Chocolate Hills to a private viewpoint. This was fun, but the viewpoint we went to was not as good as the traditional Chocolate Hills viewpoint. Regardless, the Chocolate Hills were super cool to see, and we couldn't help but sit and wonder how all of these hills were originally formed. Our day exploring the countryside of Bohol was a fun blend of beautiful nature and cultural heritage that definitely surpassed our expectations.
We woke up early the next morning in anticipation for our boat tour to the Balicasag Marine Sanctuary. We got to Lido Beach as the sun was rising to maximize our chance of seeing dolphins on the ride over. It was a beautiful and calm day as we headed out towards Panglao Island. In what felt like no time, we started to see glimpses of pods of dolphins swimming. As we got closer, the curious dolphins came up to us and started bow surfing, which was amazing to see.
After experiencing the dolphins, we finished our boat ride to Balicasag Island. Balicasag Island is home to around 1,500 locals and is known for their stunning marine sanctuary. After arriving, we walked to meet our local snorkel guide, who took us out on a small kayak to the sanctuary. When we jumped in the water, we were immediately blown away by the beautiful coral all around us. While the visibility wasn't the best, the coral and fish were incredible, and Rachel and I both agreed that it was some of the best snorkeling that we have ever done. After we finished snorkeling, we headed a quick 15-minute boat ride to the Virgin Island Sandbar. This was a beautiful location to relax at and just enjoy the untouched beauty of the Philippines.
After relaxing for a bit, we walked along the sandbar to the Isla Tomasa, where we met our boat driver to head back to Lido Beach.
We had an absolute blast on our boat tour, and we couldn't recommend it enough if you visit Bohol.
The dolphins, coral reefs, fish, and the beautiful aquatic landscapes were a powerful reminder of the importance in preserving the beauty found in the ocean for future generations. That evening for dinner, we headed to Jose's Tagbilaran for some local Filipino food. It was a super fun environment and the staff were super kind and welcoming. For dinner, we got the Cajun shrimp and crispy pork sigsig, which were fun to try. If you're wanting to try some local food in the Philippines, we'd recommend trying the sinigang soup, pork sigsig, kari-kari, palabok, and crispy pata. Dinner at Jose's was a perfect way to top off an incredible second day in Bohol.
For our third and final day in Bohol, we booked another private driver to show us around some of the local sites in Panglao. Our first stop was the Napaling Reef for some more snorkeling. This wasn't something commonly recommended to us, so we weren't sure how it was going to be, but the snorkeling was absolutely stunning. Right as we got in, we were greeted with a stunning drop-off and coral wall surrounded by thousands of sardines. It was a surreal and almost magical experience to swim through the sardines and free dive along the wall.
Due to the great visibility, Jason and I thought the snorkeling here was even better than our snorkeling in the Balicasag Marine Sanctuary. After snorkeling, we headed just a few minutes down the road to Hinagdanan Cave. This beautiful cave is full of intricate stalactites, stalagmites, and a crystal clear freshwater pool for swimming. Swimming in the water was fun and incredibly refreshing on a hot day. After enjoying the cave, we headed back to our hotel to pack up and headed to the Bohol airport, where we would board a plane for the next part of our adventure, El Nido.
The most common way to get to El Nido is to take a flight down to Puerto Princesa International Airport and then take a 5 to 6 hour bus ride to the town of El Nido. Due to our limited time in the Philippines, we paid a little extra to fly with Air Swift directly into El Nido. We also stayed at Seda Leo, which is an absolutely beautiful resort conveniently located just 5 minutes from the airport. After arriving, we checked into our hotel and then headed just 20 minutes into El Nido downtown for a dinner and a beautiful sunset at El Nido Beach.
We woke up the next morning excited to go diving in El Nido. Diving was one of our main reasons to go to the Philippines, and we couldn't wait to experience the biodiversity of this region of the world. After checking into our dive, we set sail directly from downtown El Nido. The countless limestone cliffs were beautiful as we sailed out to our first dive site. With a bit of nervous energy for our first dive since Okinawa last year, we suited up and jumped into the emerald waters of El Nido.
As we got to the bottom, we were blown away by some of the coral structures which were unlike anything else that we have ever seen underwater. As we dove, we saw the most clownfish that we have ever seen. We were also lucky enough to see this cool sea turtle resting under a rock. We even saw a lionfish. Named after their mane of elongated spines and regal movements, it was super cool to see this fish in its native environment. The highlight for me though on this first dive was the absolutely stunning white sea anemone and clownfish. This was unlike anything I had ever seen.
One of our unexpected highlights was actually sailing between dive sites. The emerald green water and the limestone cliffs were stunning to look at as we made our way to our next dive site. After enjoying the views and a quick lunch, we suited up again for our next dive. As we dove down, we were greeted by beautiful soft corals, stunning angelfish, and even a clown triggerfish.
As we made our way down to the bottom, we saw one of the biggest sea turtles that we have ever seen. We also felt like we hit the jackpot as we saw another lionfish. As we made our way to the coral walls, we saw schools of fish swimming between what looked like a fish highway. We learned that the Philippines is located in the heart of the Coral Triangle. Home to over 75% of the world's coral species, the Coral Triangle is the global center for marine biodiversity.
It was an absolute pleasure experiencing the incredible coral and marine diversity firsthand as we dove in El Nido. It is amazing to think that these underwater cities are a product of centuries of coral growth and evolution. Teeming with life and vibrant colors, it is truly beautiful to see nature's untouched creations. That evening, we headed to Lido Beach for a beautiful sunset and dinner by the beach. Eating dinner while looking out at the ocean and listening to the waves crash was truly a perfect way to end our day.
For our final full day in El Nido, we set out to do some island hopping. With over 40 distinct islands, this is the main reason people come to El Nido, and for good reason. The towering limestone cliffs with various beaches and beautiful lagoons are truly breathtaking. In an effort to manage the environmental impact of all of the tourism in El Nido, visitors are forced to choose one tour of closely located islands per day. With only one day of island hopping, we opted for Tour A as it is the most popular tour and stops at the iconic Big Lagoon. We opted to book a private tour while in El Nido, but as all of the tours go to the same place, the only real value of the private tour was getting to choose our own timing and how long we wanted to stay at each location. This was definitely nice, but we aren't sure if it was worth 5 times the cost of the normal group tour.
After boarding our boat, we headed straight to the Big Lagoon. As what might be the most iconic place in all of the islands of Palawan, we could not wait to experience this beautiful location for ourselves. As we arrived, we were blown away by the jagged limestone cliffs and beautiful shades of water. Excited to experience it up close, we got in our kayak and headed toward the lagoon. The changing watercolors were beautiful as we kayaked between the cliffs and into the lagoon. With stunning limestone cliffs, beautiful clear water, and coral reefs below us, it really did feel like paradise in the big lagoon, and we couldn't help but smile as we took it all in.
The rest of our tour followed a similar pattern as we climbed into hidden lagoons, explored beautiful beaches, and enjoyed more breathtaking snorkeling. Our island hopping tour in El Nido turned out to be one of the highlights of our trip. We absolutely loved spending the day surrounded by and exploring the beautiful limestone cliffs and azure waters. After our tour, we again walked down the beach to experience one last dinner and sunset at Lido Beach.
We were sad to be leaving the paradise of El Nido, but excited for the next chapter of our journey as we boarded our flight to Coron. The short 40-minute flight through Palawan to Coron was beautiful. After arriving, we checked into our hotel. We were supposed to go on another dive that day, but due to a mix-up in locations, we ended up being unable to go. As a result, we spent the day relaxing at our resort. While this wasn't quite what we originally planned, it was a great day to relax and rejuvenate in preparation for our next full-day adventure exploring the islands of Coron.
We came to Coron to experience its beautiful islands. With only one day to really take it all in, we opted for the Coron Super Ultimate Islands Tour. Stopping at all of Coron's main locations in a single day, this is the best way to see what Coron has to offer in a limited amount of time. The Super Ultimate Tour we booked stopped at Siete Pecados, Kayaking Lake, Barracuda Lake, Coron Youth Club Beach, Twin Lagoon, and the Coral Garden. With stops for snorkeling, hiking to beautiful lakes and viewpoints, kayaking, and free diving, this tour had a bit of everything. While every stop was beautiful, we particularly loved our stops at Barracuda Lake and the famous Twin Lagoon.
Free diving in the crystal clear waters of Barracuda Lake was an incredibly peaceful experience. With the sunlight piercing through and the pristine water clarity, it was super fun to dive down and observe limestone rock formations. The Twin Lagoon was our most anticipated stop in Coron, and for good reason. Kayaking through the crystal clear waters surrounded by limestone cliffs covered in lush greenery was a breathtaking experience. Overall, we loved our island hopping tour in Coron. It looked even better in person than in pictures, and we both agreed that we would love to come back someday to stay in a resort on the islands. After our tour, we spent the evening relaxing at our hotel with dinner, live music, and even fire dancing.
We woke up the next morning excited for the day, but a bit sad that it would be our final day in the Philippines. That morning we flew from Coron to Manilla, and after arriving took a taxi straight into the Spanish Quarter in the heart of Manila. Known as Intramuros, translating to within the walls, This historic district was established by the Spanish in the 16th century. Getting to visit there quite literally felt like we stepped in a time machine and went back in time. After arriving, we booked a 1-hour guided tour, which was the perfect way to learn about the history and see all of the major sites of Intramuros.
While learning about the history was fun, an unexpected highlight was getting to know and chat with our tour guide. Throughout our entire trip, the Filipino people were so warm and welcoming to us, which really enhanced our experience. After our tour, we stopped for a quick bite to eat at Jollibee's. As the largest and most beloved fast food chain in the Philippines, we felt like we couldn't leave the Philippines without trying it.
After lunch, we headed to Bonifacio Global City. Coming from the historic Spanish Quarter, we were blown away when we arrived. This modern district is a master planned city characterized by pedestrian-friendly streets, luxury high-rise buildings, and a plethora of shopping and dining options. We have said it before, but change truly is the seasoning of life. Experiencing this futuristic district in comparison to the historic Spanish Quarter truly turned out to be one of the highlights of our trip.
After enjoying the relaxed atmosphere at BGC, we headed to the Mall of Asia. With an Olympic-sized ice skating rink and just about every store you can think of, the Mall of Asia is the third largest mall in the world and is definitely worth experiencing for yourself. After a bit of shopping and eating some Michelin-star dim sum at Tim Ho Wan, it was finally time to head to the airport and begin our journey home. As we traveled home, we couldn't help but reflect on the incredible trip we had to the Philippines. With beautiful coral reefs below the azure waters, stunning limestone cliffs, opportunities for adventure, and kind and welcoming people, the Philippines truly is a place to add to any travel bucket list.
As we always say, travel is truly a privilege, and we feel everywhere we go teaches us something new and helps us discover areas where we can grow. As we experienced the Philippines, we were struck by the focus and priority of the Filipino people on family and faith. With this focus, we saw firsthand how happy they are despite their physical circumstances. We again left inspired to reconsider our priorities and the things that we focus on the most on a day-to-day basis. As always, if you have the opportunity to visit the Philippines, we would definitely recommend taking a trip to experience all that this beautiful country has to offer for yourself. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed the video. Of course, a big thanks again to Insta360. And if you're interested in getting your own 360-degree camera to help you capture your travel memories, definitely check out the link in the description. If you did enjoy the video, we would really appreciate it if you gave it a like and subscribed. We have tons more travel content we're excited to show you. As always, we hope you have an amazing day.